Hi, welcome to King of Sobriety. If you're thinking that you probably have a problem with alcohol, with drinking, or you kind of getting yourself ready for that perfect, fantastic journey of sobriety, then great. I'm happy you're here because I'm about to show you 10 a kind of a tricks, how we can call them, which they will definitely help you on the beginning when you decided to become sober. And we're talking right now about someone who's like in early stages when, let's say, your commitment may be a little bit, weak, small, and there are some techniques, I will call them, or the tricks, or something which you can probably use to help yourself to build up that fantastic journey, which I will call sobriety. About them tricks, I would say they're not actually particularly in any order. It doesn't mean that they have to go in specific order. They just only randomly placed. So you will decide if there's anything you would like to use, or or something you don't think it's not gonna be for you. That's okay. You can completely forget about it. But as I'm saying, that is something which actually has been done by people, so it really works. But as we know, everything depends on personality and your needs, and probably I will say as well possibilities, because at some things you need to have access to something or be able to do it. Number one will be baby steps. Everything, whatever we achieve in life, we actually doing it in the little steps, right? Everything gets some kind of a preparation, or then, on daily basis or step by step in this case, you will get to the point when eventually you will build whatever you're after. So the first kind of a goal is actually, don't worry about that. Oh my lord, I'm not going to be drinking anymore. That's not your problem. You're supposed to concentrate only on anything which is up front of you. So, you're waking up in the morning, you're going to work. That's all you know. And the plan for today is, I'm not drinking. That is actually basically your approach to it. So when you're coming from work, you know what to do. You're not drinking today. So you're building one day, and then you're building another day, and everything starts from minute to minute, an hour to an hour, to day, week to week, month to month, and that's how you build a year. If you look on someone who's gonna be sober, for instance, 365 days, which is a year, you don't think about what I'm gonna do and how the things will be going 6 months from now or 8 months from now. No, you're just actually building day by day. And a year, well, is nothing else but 365 days when you have not been drinking. So I know this sounds cliche, but actually that's how it works. And this is actually the only kind of a way to approach the thinking about alcohol. Because we're talking about in here replacing one foot with the other foot. So you have only 50% of chances you're drinking or you're not drinking. And there's nothing else. There's no any kind of a formula for this. Everything will be working well when you're gonna be weaken the bond with alcohol. Meaning, the more days you've got under the belt, the more you will start seeing yourself how you're getting onto it, and the more you're gonna start questioning that alcohol, because you will start realizing, hey, I can live without. So number one, baby steps. Number two, make sure that your stomach is full. I know, it's crazy. I mean, imagine when you've been drinking, probably you had a poor diet, or you had some kind of a quick diet, or you've been just missing meals, because majority cases, if you look on the alcohol itself, it has some kind of a nutrition inside. But the crappy ones, not to mention the ethanol is inside of it, but still there has some kind of a nutrition. So there's plenty people which they actually not eating and continue getting calories from alcohol. I know it's not a great idea. The second thing is as well, when you have empty stomach and you will fill up the stomach, or for instance you're drinking sparkling water or something which is sparkling, that might actually get you into the point that it will give you some kind of a similar feeling like, let's say, drinking a beer. I know the taste is not the same, but the sparkling sensation goes down through your throat. It's pretty much similar. So you have a situation that you make sure that you have your stomach full, but we're not going into now kind of a eating like crazy, right? Because we don't want to create the situation that you are replacing one addiction for another one. So you're jumping right now from addiction of drinking alcohol to addiction of eating like crazy. This is the point that we have to remember. Whatever you're doing in substitute, you have to remember that you have kind of a perfectly working addiction brain, all right? Because alcohol already showed you this. So your addiction can be easily transferred to something else. And we're talking about getting and making sure that when craving will be happening and coming to you, you might always get yourself, into eating. For instance, I'm hungry, so let me eat something, and that will definitely work. Definitely, that will work, because that is always working. If you have a full stomach, for instance, and on the times when you've been drinking, you don't have that much actually room for drink anyway. Let's face it. I mean, how many beers you've probably been able to crack when you've been on empty stomach, and how much space you got in there, and when you just had some large meal, for instance. But as I'm saying, it's not a point of getting from one to the other. But this could be one of the tricks as well you can use. So number 2, make sure your stomach is full. Number 3, ask people for help. I know, it's just like you made a decision, you don't want to drink, you're jumping on sobriety path, you want to finish with that crappy addiction. Talk to your people around the household. You can tell them that you decided that you don't want to drink. Same as with workplaces. I know that not everyone has guts to do it. Not everyone is brave enough to do it, because normally probably you feel ashamed of the stuff. So you don't know how people will kind of take this information on board. But if you do that, something like that, it might help you, because the people will understand that will have to approach you a different way. I mean, with a family, probably not once, not twice. You've been already doing some claims that you finished, that you're done, that you're gonna get better, that you're gonna stop doing what you're doing. So they probably don't believe you. But that shouldn't be your problem right now, if they do believe you or they don't. Because you made your decision, you know what you want to do, and day after day, they will be convinced. And trust me, the family is always the first place which will forgive you in that perspective, or they will get used to it, that there is a new you. Well, unless you got some kind of very cracky, crazy situations behind, so maybe that the way that someone will forgive you might not happening. But in a majority cases, family understand that this is the people around you, and you are actually going to be always there, because the family you're never going to choose. Family is given to you from that perspective. So I wouldn't worry about too much about it. But as I'm saying, let the people know, so they will know what you're trying to do, and they will understand your kind of behaviors from time to time. But remember, just because you did that, just because you said that to them, that doesn't mean that they have to become or make sober for you, if that makes sense. So your frustrations shouldn't go on them because you want to release your stress or something like that. No. This is just only for them to understand in what kind of a stage of your life you are. So number 3, ask people for help. Number 4, change your routines, because so far your routines probably been, or majority cases, they will be around drinking, because probably all your life was scheduled around drinking. So you need to change some routines. Now, definitely you cannot, on the beginning of your sobriety, or maybe even later, but that will be pretty much obvious, you cannot spend time with your drinking buddies. It doesn't work that way, because they will probably break you, or you're gonna break, so you're too much exposed for the alcohol. So you will have to take in consideration, I don't do them places, I don't do them people. Then later, of course, you will understand as well, the only probably thing which you get common with them was just drinking, because if they will miss you not being there, they probably gonna find someone else who's gonna be with them, or they will replace you with someone else. and they're not going to be worried about it if you're there or not there. Same as with some kind of a family gatherings. On the beginning, it's okay even if you excuse yourself for being somewhere, right? I'm sure that family member will be okay with you, having information that you're not coming, and you're not coming actually because you know what's going to be happening there, probably some kind of a drinking, and that might expose you, not ready for this. So they will understand, and maybe if you've been heavy drinking or stuff, they probably will be thinking that you already get knocked down at home, and that's the reason why you're not coming, and probably that's just only excuse because you're already being, drunk as Lord, so you're not able to attend anyway. But it doesn't really matter because you shouldn't worry about this. This is something, it's out of your, let's say, control, out of your zone. You're supposed to cover yourself and make sure, the number 4, you're changing your routines. Number 5, fill up your empty space. Why? Because so far you've been investing your time in drinking. And once that's the kind of a thing. When you stop drinking, you kind of see how much time you have. And you actually did not even look and never noticed how much time you've been spending for drinking. Not even talking about all your schedule of the day probably was around drinking. So you knew what you're doing, but you were not actually that much aware of it, how much time you're actually spending for drinking. So now if I don't drink, it's a problem. I got so much time. I'm getting bored, so that might quickly get me back to drinking because that's the only thing I know, right? Especially if I was doing this for years, decades, or you name it. So in that case, you have to fill up the space somehow. And that's why we kind of planning our sobriety, because when you see that happening, you see that coming, and you need to do something. I mean, fair enough. If someone has a family and is a busy household, that will be easy for you to find something to do. Now, if you are the person which is actually not in a busy household, or you're living by yourself, well, that's going to be a little bit more tricky, because that's going to be very difficult, because now, 1, you are your own policeman, as we know it, and 2, now you have to figure out what to do. So maybe it's time to go to the gym, maybe it's time to take care of a little bit about yourself, because probably you're definitely out of shape. Well, you've been just sitting by the table or lying on a sofa and doing one repetition after one repetition, which was basically lifting the cans or a glass filled up with alcohol, whatever that was. Now you have a time to do something else, and you can try even the things. You can even look into perspective, whatever you would like to do, because let's say in early days you've been doing before, let's say that before the time you start drinking, there was probably something. Maybe it's something passionable you've been about. Maybe there's something you had an interest in something. Not everything, technically speaking, takes the money. Not everything's involved with the money. So you can go towards that, or try to pursue something, or try things and see what will be suitable for you. But you make sure you fill up the time. So even if you don't have even big plans about what you would like to do, you can always, the night or evening before, the next day, you schedule yourself a plan. What you're going to do. So you're going to be busy. You stay busy, you're doing something. If you're doing something, you're not getting bored. If I'm not getting bored, I'm not going to be drinking. That's the plan. That's the idea. So this is what we have to remember. Fill up the empty space. So number 5, fill up the empty space. Number 6, physical change. It's easy stuff as maybe it's changing the haircut, changing anything about you. Because so far, every time when you're going to be looking, technically speaking, in a mirror, you're going to see, whatever you look like now, that is going to be some kind of a connection with your past. So, which was drinking. And now, because you're starting a new chapter in your life, so why not start this chapter in a new way? So maybe change the haircut. Maybe you always want to have a beard or a mustache or anything, or maybe you will shave your beard. So you're doing some kind of a physical change. You can as well, like for instance, maybe change your clothing for something. So that is actually indication for you that you're starting something new. Okay? So it's pretty much the same like New Year's, people are coming up with new ideas, what they're going to do, or what they're going to become, or what they're going to create, and so on and so on. And that is a very good. idea, because that will be something like writing a new chapter of sobriety. So you're changing your looks, you're changing, anything around you, and then that creates that kind of a momentum, and that's what you want, because the motivation can keep taking you up to the certain point, but then how long you're gonna stay motivated on something? Yeah, we know how that works. Majority cases will be very kind of a failure at some point, but that motivation is supposed to get into some movement, right? And if you're looking forward to something, and definitely there is always something new, then you feel better, because you have to forgive yourself, right? I've been doing some bad things, but now I intend to do the good things. And the only way to get free is, basically speaking, to release the anchor which holds your ship, which was drinking. Now you release the anchor so you can do it. So, number 6, the physical change. Number 7, be aware of isolation. Okay? You don't want to isolate yourself, because on the beginning you're probably thinking there's something wrong with you. You're being an addict, you've been addicted, or you just realized that situation. So now you're thinking, okay, truly, if you can find some kind of a groups, supporting groups, AA meetings, all the other places. If you actually not, comfortable to go to some meetings, because you see, the people don't understand that when you go into AA meetings, it's not always that you have to actually take kind of a active role in it. You can even go there. There's some free groups, entry for everybody, so you can actually sit in the back and listen to the people. Then you realize you're not by yourself. There's others, and you will find some similarities, because so far when you drink, you've been so much isolated from anyone around you. Probably you might have a group of people, they've been drinking with you, so you can see there's only small bubble, and the rest of the world looks kind of different to you. But then when you start to connect with others, then you will understand, okay, I'm not by myself. There's others. They're struggling as me. So that will give you some kind of a later, understanding where you are, and understanding that you're not by yourself. You're not alone. And that kind of gives you the push to understand, to push, to get motivated. And because you're going to see others, which they will have probably some years or months, but they achieved something. And that will be as well the kind of a nice push and motivation for you to get going. So, number 7, isolation. Number 8, but that would be number 8 will be towards the people they drive in the cars. Drive everywhere, right? Because the driving will be excuse not to drink, because the driving will keep you away from the bottle. Definitely you don't want to drink and drive, so you're gonna be losing your licenses and vehicles and all the stuff which is involved in it. But driving, great, fantastic. Every time when you're gonna be invited somewhere, let's say with your partner or by yourself or whatever, then you can always drop the excuse that you're driving, or you have to go and get something done. So, and that will require your driving. So you change your routines, for instance. I mean, if shopping was done early in the morning, maybe push that shopping to the evening somewhere, so you still be driving somewhere, so we create the purpose. And that comes with replacing the thought. So anything you can do right now to keep yourself away from drinking on that early beginning stage is the best way to do anything. Anything will be becoming like an excuse not to do something. In this perspective, we're talking about drinking. You don't want to drink. So number 8, driving the car. Number 9, get things done. Well, so far when you've been drinking, you did not complete much. All right, there was probably a lot of postponed, a lot of procrastination, or pushing projects away. So get things done. What that's supposed to do, that's supposed to keep you busy. That's one. Probably there was plenty projects you pushed away on side, or you couldn't find, just kind of a motivation to do it. So now you're killing procrastination that way, and then shows you as well that you're actually not drinking and you're achieving things, right? So you're going after something, you're getting done something. So that's why number 9 is get things done. Number 10, go see places. Yeah, I know. Organize something on the weekend. Just move out from home. it's not even about the isolation. It's about going somewhere, see something, because normally you've been sitting at home and doing nothing, right? Within them four walls, uh, completely getting wasted. In here, you can create yourself, maybe every fortnight, every 2 weeks, you will go somewhere, you see places, you will visit something. So you become an active automatically. And then this one actually will work for you pretty much well. When you go in somewhere, if even if there's some kind of a trip with some group of the people you don't totally know, they strangers, they don't know you've been drinking, they don't know who you are. So you can feel yourself a bit better. You've got some kind of a dignity going within you. You got some kind of a better motivation, energy, because you see that the other people, how they visiting places, you interact with the people. You can even play completely strange people. You don't have to say even your real name. That's okay. You can be completely, stranger. But what I'm saying is, normally you've been sitting at home and drinking. Here, you get to know. You interacted. You're visiting places. You will see something great. Maybe you will learn something fantastic or something you discover. Anything like that. Do not stay home. Go and see places. That shows you actually how you can attack other things, and you're not actually that kind of a lost, and this battle of yours does not have to be so difficult. Why? Because sometimes we like to give too much power to other things. If you're giving too much power to alcohol, you're gonna be acting like someone who's actually, well, I'm doing this fight but I'm gonna lose anyway. No, you're not. It's just the case of your approach. Everything starts in the head and everything is finished in the head. So everything is about our thoughts, but you have to train yourself to do that right. So yeah, this is something which I will definitely look at, because all these 10 tricks, for instance, I'm not saying that you're going to be able to use everything, but in majority cases, there's something worth it to look at. Maybe to try first, see if it works. If it doesn't work, fair enough, then move on to something else. But technically speaking, you have to kill the boredom. That's the only thing it is. Because if you've been drinking, you spend the time doing this. If you're not drinking, suddenly you start producing plenty of time, which you never see actually how much time you've been wasting on drinking itself. Right, I hope that was kind of useful to you. I mean, you can try, you've got nothing to lose, and you've got basically the whole sobriety of life to gain. So that is the most important part, and this is what I like to, and you would like to, guys, concentrate on. And remember, you can be the king or a queen of sobriety yourself. I believe in you. If anybody can do it, so you can do it. All right? Take care of yourself. If you are interested with more, you know what to do. I shall see you later, and have another 24 sober hours. All right. Bye-bye.